Yo, what's poppin', people? Your boy Snacks is back in the building with another banger. Y'all know how we do. Before we get started, go ahead and do your boy a solid. Appreciate y'all for watching, but you know what I want y'all to do. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to leave your comments down in the comment section. And it's a beautiful day. And before we get started with the hating and the dum dum, y'all know how we get down, man. Y'all make sure y'all tell the people that you love them. You know what I'm talking about. But before we get started with this hater, we got another video dropping later today. So y'all make sure you hit that notification bell so you'll know when your boy is dropping these things. You know what I'm talking about. So we going back to hater of the week. And you know, when it comes to hating, there is no bigger hater than Jason Whitlock, the hater of everything black, the hater of himself, supporter of all things anti. So he tried to turn a mountain into a molehill by speaking on something that was relatively true. And I don't think Jason has ever had his black man moment yet. You know, where that you don't belong here, boy, type of moment yet. Because if he had, we wouldn't get reactions or videos of things like this. But let's go. I'm gonna let y'all figure it out.
Incident that's made news, and I think it connects to a conversation we were having this week about Ryan Clark and about these installed people that are there just to promote racial division. Have you heard the story of, I believe her name is Michelle Bishop, and her conflict with a guy named DeMichael Jenkins? She was
Before he gets started, before he gets started, we need to get this right. Because I want y'all to understand. I need y'all to listen to how he tells the story. And then we're gonna go from there. So let's get back into it.
was walking her two children, one in a stroller, one walking beside her late at night, and or not late at night, 6 at night, and it's dark outside. They're in Ohio, and a truck, is rolling behind her very slowly, and she gets a little spooked by the car that's creeping behind her. This, I believe, happened in mid-November. And so she somewhat panics, steps out of the road. The car keeps creeping, the truck keeps creeping behind her very slowly. Not, she's walking. The car is behind her, not passing her by. Think it through. You're a woman. It's dark at night. You've got one child in a stroller, one child walking behind you, and there's a truck creeping beside you, not passing you by. People, let's say the woman is walking 5 miles an hour. Let's say she's at a slight jog with her kids, because I think that was part of it. She may have been going 6 to 8 miles per hour while jogging. The car's not passing her. She gets concerned, steps out of the road. Then she says she walks up to the nearest house, pretending like it's her house or it's someone else's house, and thinking that would make the car drive past her. The car doesn't. The car pulls in right behind her into this house. She panics. The guy in the car says, "Hey, are you lost? Are you looking for something?" And she says, "No." And then she asks the man, "Hey, do you live here?" He says, "Yes, I do." She tells him, "No, I don't believe you." And she's white. The guy driving the car, fair skin, but he turns out to be black. She claims she thought it was a white guy. Anyway, at some point she's on, and this is all captured on it.
Now, you heard Jason tell that story. That she walking slowly, she walking, and the car's creeping up behind her slowly. But what he didn't tell him, what he didn't say was, the man said, "I was looking at my Christmas lights at my house. So apparently she had to be right there on his sidewalk at his driveway. If he's looking at his Christmas lights, not pulling up in his driveway yet. So apparently they just put the Christmas lights out and he looking at him as he's coming home. So this lady runs up to his house and rings the doorbell. But I can't tell you what happened. I'm gonna let you watch it for yourself.
On the doorbell, ring doorbell. We need you. What's going on?
Do you live here?
Yeah.
You do?
Papa.
I don't believe that.
What?
I don't believe that.
So what are you doing here?
Rory, come on. Rory, come on.
Hey.
Did someone come here?
That was my wife. Somebody chased her up here. And she had kids.
Who chased her?
She said somebody in a
There was a
silver
guy
truck.
in a gray truck, and he came around the corner,
I don't know if you guys have a
and I was in
reading.
the street, and so I come up, and I just have my kids, and so I'm like gonna pretend that I'm coming home, and so I pull up and I start walking to your back gate, and he stops here and he goes, "Are you looking for someone?" And I said, "Nope," and then he sat here, and I was like, "I need to get in."
Well, that's my husband. That's why he lives here. Yeah. He lives here. So he came in and he said there's this lady screaming. And I'm like, that's.
She got all worried that she
scared the crap out of me.
How?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
How did he scare you
I
though?
had a feel.
I just seen her in the driveway and I was like, are you looking for somebody? Because I was pulling up out
And I
home.
saw someone walking in our driveway too. And I'm like, why is someone walking in our driveway?
Well, I'm
Well, there
sorry.
we got it. All right, sorry.
She said that someone was following her. So you were walking from there?
You came this way, didn't you?
No, I came down this street right here.
Yeah.
And I was riding slow because I'm looking at our Christmas lights.
Well, you just have to understand my point of view. Being by myself with two kids, I just saw a car coming, and so I was like, oh, it scared me, and so I just pulled up here, and I kept thinking, this could be his house. But you didn't say, this is my home. You just said, are you looking? And I was like,
I did. When you was on the porch, you asked me, did I live here? I said, yeah.
And you said, no, you don't.
And you said, I don't think you do.
It was obviously, you could tell that I was really caught off guard.
Like I'm pulling in my, it's like I'm pulling in my house. Like this is not, this neighborhood is probably one of the best neighborhoods in Ohio.
It is.
I don't, you don't have to worry about stuff like that.
Well, I'm very sorry. I really hope that you're not upset with me.
Come on, baby, go in the house. Let's go.
You told me that I didn't. You said you didn't think I lived here.
It was the way that you were talking. I was so caught off guard. I'm so sorry.
But she tried to say you didn't jump out the car and say, hey, I live here. What the hell am I gonna jump out the car and tell you I live here for? Because I live. You asked the question, he gave an answer, and you said, no, I don't think you live here. You don't live here. And then you said the same thing. So, see, and he did the right thing by just going in the house, not doing anything else. Because if you call the police in that moment, it might not go well. I am a black man. When I was in Montgomery, and even here, I lived in one of the most affluent neighborhoods in the city. And was one of the few, very few, like 3, black families in that subdivision. And as we know, as subdivisions are built, starter homes in the front, Medium-sized homes are in the middle. Big-ass homes in the back. And me, I'm in the big-ass homes in the back. But for a while, when we first moved in that subdivision, on my way home, I would get stopped by the police often and ask me, where am I going? Do I know where I'm at? And I have a fair amount of cars, 4 or 5, and I'm not always in the same vehicle. Or I'm on my motorcycle or something like that. And I would always get stopped, no matter which gate I came through, the north or the south or the east gate, because there was 3 gates into our subdivision. No matter which side I came from, I would always get stopped. And I'm like, at some point, y'all know I live here because it's the same police. Because all of them work the same shift, and usually all of them work the same neighborhoods. So you can't tell me it doesn't happen. When I first moved into my home, they didn't like that I was there. They didn't like that my family was there. Big black man, 2, 3 kids, and at that point in time, I wasn't working at all. I was doing straight YouTube, so I'm in and out during the day. They don't never see me leaving for 8 to 10 hours a day. I was just at home all the time because I'm recording videos, live streaming, making sure my partners are good, and doing all those things. Then I run out, go to the store, or go pick the kids up, or run an errand, but I'm always at home. That black man is either selling dope, whatever he's doing it illegally. And that's when YouTube wasn't popping like it's popping now. People didn't know that you could make money off of YouTube, especially in Alabama, where I was from. They wasn't thinking about YouTube and at home making a lot of money every month. No. I got a Tahoe, a Suburban, a Mercedes. What did I have then? Which car? Probably the Trans Am, my motorcycles, and a bunch of toys, and didn't always have a lot of company, but when I had an event, it was an event, and then I go out of town for a couple of days and come back. I go to a show, go to a streaming event, go to a Twitch event, go to a YouTube event, a Call of Duty event, all that stuff. But when you are one of a few living in a neighborhood, they don't like that. And I got a feeling Jason has never had that experience, because listen to this. Just listen.
Doorbell ring, camera on the door. She panics, grabs her kid out of the stroller, grabs the other kid by the hand, and starts running away from the guy, and running because she lives in this neighborhood as well, and runs away from the guy, leaves her stroller there. And so let's say this happened.
No, she's running and screaming, help, help, help. Like someone is doing something to her. Let's say a neighbor don't know what's going on, but here's this lady screaming for help, and they walk out the door and just start busting. Then what? Oops. Ain't no oops. Because what you can't get back is that man's life. She called the police, and the police show up. All they know is a woman's in distress, a black man with dreads is after her. That's all they know. And when they see him, he's already a threat. See, he hasn't had his black man moment yet. He been hanging around these people, and he ain't been in no spaces. He ain't been pulled over and asked for his driver's license and insurance and asked to be stepped out the car. Because we want to search your car because it smell like you been smoking weed. See, Jason don't live in that hood. He don't live in one of those areas. He's not one of few in his subdivision. In my current subdivision I'm in right now, I am the only black family on this block. All the way in the back. Where I stay right now, I am the only black family on this block. Yeah, there's a couple sprinkled through here, but on this block, the very last street in the subdivision, where when you make a right on the my street, it comes to a cul-de-sac that they reopened up and added more houses. Added 1, 2, 3, 4 more houses down the block. And it circles back out. Because this was the cul-de-sac. And they opened it up because, hey, we got a couple of more acres and we can put a couple of more houses right here. We are in the largest section of the subdivision. And I am the only one. And now that I've gotten to know my neighbors, it's a lot better. But when I first got here, we had a lot of problems with the HOA, a lot of problems with the guy across the street because I got more vehicles than he do. But those are what we deal with. He hasn't had to deal with those problems, and he ain't had his black man moment yet. But let's finish listening to this nonsense.
At 5:30, 6 o'clock, what? Her husband and her circle back 15 to 30 minutes later to get the stroller, and the wife comes out and confronts or engages with him is the better word, and informs her, hey, that was my husband. What are you doing? What, blah, blah, blah. And the next thing you know, they got a conflict going on where the white woman.
That ain't no conflict. They was having a conversation. But the man, the husband, said my wife was running because somebody was chasing her. That man had pulled up in their driveway. I'm sure when he pulled up in the driveway, he let the garage up. But she dropped the stroller, took the kid out, and took off running. Those are assumptions. Those are lies. Those lies got Emmett Till killed. And a few other brothers have been killed behind a white woman's lies. People have been locked up. But see, he hasn't had his black man moment yet. And that's the problem.
In the panic, she starts apologizing, said, hey, I just thought this, and you got to see things from my perspective. Well, because we live in modern.
Yes, she wanted us to see it from her perspective. But what is your perspective? Your perspective is a black man was chasing me and I had to go run. A man was chasing me, but nobody was chasing her. If he was chasing her and she took out running with the kids, why he didn't go behind? Why she didn't hear that truck go skirt and take off when she took off? That's being chased.
In America, this has turned into a great racial conflict. And guess who stirred the pot on this? 4 or 5. First, someone puts it out over social media, I believe on January the 18th. And again, this event happened in November. Someone over Twitter puts out the Ring camera video on Twitter, on X, on January the 18th. Shannon Sharp picks it up, that video. He and Ocho Cinco on Nightcap unpack it and talk about how racist this woman is and how this man was profiled in front of his home. And then Shannon Sharp, I believe January 20th, 21st, somewhere in there, has the woman, the black man and his wife, on Nightcap to really stir the pot, to get the racial division going. Here's Shannon Sharp. Let's start with the first thing that really raised a red flag for me is the introduction of DeMichael Jenkins and his wife and how that was unpacked and him talking about the neighborhood they lived in and all of this. Let's play SOT number 18.
I'm proud to go home. Shannon, something I want you to know is when they say it's an affluent neighborhood, it's one of the most wealthiest neighborhoods in Ohio.
Wow, congrats.
And my house is the best house in the
That's what I'm
neighborhood
talking about.
because
Come on now.
I designed it from scratch. I'm an architectural designer. I bought the land, I financed the land, designed it from scratch, and I built it from the ground up using all my resources. So proud to come home.
That raises a red flag with me. They're coming on to talk.
Why does that raise a red flag with you? Because you're a black man. He built his own house. He said it's the best house in the neighborhood. It's the biggest house in the neighborhood. But that raises a red flag with you. Why? Because we can't build that. We built everything else around here. Let's go.
Talk about something that happened in November that, as best I can tell from all my research, police never involved. It's a little disagreement about a woman that was panicked with her kids, that the worst thing she did was tell the man, hey, I don't believe this is your house, and then run away.
The worst thing she did was tell that man, I don't believe this is your house. See, for him, that's life. But for somebody to say, you don't live here, but I bought this, I built this, I paid for this. Like I said, if somebody heard her scream and came outside with that thing, it would have been bad. But then it would have been an oops. Why we do that? You can't have no oops moments because he can't get his life back. Those kids can't get their father back. But it's okay for that woman to scream help in the middle of the street. When she asked the question was answered, and she told him he was a lie. But you don't see no problem. Let's go.
And so then came back, and she's on tape apologizing for the misunderstanding and trying to explain why she panicked and why she did what she did. She was caught off guard. There's a car. She's with her kid in a stroller, and another child's walking beside them, and a car isn't passing them by. It's creeping right behind them. She gets spooked. It's dark at night. She walks to someone's.
That man said he was looking at his Christmas lights. He ain't down the block away from his house. He's right there. Because your front yard and your decorations can't stretch but nowhere but in your yard. So apparently he's in front of his house. She didn't even know which way he came from. Let her tell it, because she asked, did you come from that way? He said, no, I came from here. So Who lying? Who lying? What she saw was a black man pull up in that driveway. She didn't say he was following her. She saw him coming home and he was turning in his driveway. He slowed down in front of his house to look at his Christmas lights and then turned in his driveway because she was probably walking across his driveway and he couldn't turn anyway. He was probably being polite, letting her and the kids go by. And he turned into his driveway and she came up. Come on, man. Quit making excuses for
this house. This car just happens to turn into this house. What a coincidence. So she's sitting there like, man, you've been creeping behind me. If this was your house, why didn't you just go past me, turn into your house? If you had turned into this house before me, I wouldn't have been suspicious. Regardless, this is just a disagreement among neighbors, people that live in the neighborhood. It's not some big, it's not Emmett Till 2.0. The man goes on Shannon Sharp's show to talk about this, and the first thing that comes out of his mouth is, Shannon, this ain't just an affluent neighborhood. It's the wealthiest neighborhood in all of Ohio. And I'm like, what? This doesn't make sense. Who does this? Who thinks like this? Who talks like this? Who would go on a show? Hey, I had some racial incident, but let me tell you how.
Yes, he has to acknowledge where he stays to let you know that it's not a lot of me out here, is what he's telling you. We live in one of the most affluent neighborhoods in Ohio. So that means it ain't a lot of us out there in that neighborhood. We are out there sparingly. So all of that makes a difference. See, but Jason ain't had his Negro moment yet. So he don't understand that it makes a difference. But it's coming because he in Tennessee. And it's coming.
Rich my neighborhood is. And so that made me go, well, what? Because I'm looking at the camera angles and videos. I'm like, the wealthiest neighborhood in Ohio, what I'm seeing, that doesn't look like the wealthiest neighborhood in Ohio. That looks like a nice suburban neighborhood. What are we doing here? Who talks this way? And again, someone that wants attention, someone who's trying to prove something to everybody else. I designed this house. I built this house myself. It's the best house in this very wealthy Ohio neighborhood. Someone's gonna have to correct me. Maybe I'm wrong, but I did the research trying to, well, let me find out DeMichael Jenkins, where he's living, what he's talking about. What is this neighborhood? And so we did the research. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the best we could do was find out, like, these neighborhoods in this neighborhood are selling anywhere from $800,000 to $1 million. And I'm like, the wealthiest neighborhood in Ohio? People are buying houses for $700,000, $800,000, $900,000, $1 million. The best neighborhood in Ohio, the wealthiest neighborhood in Ohio, this man's doing too much. And he doesn't have much life perspective. Maybe I got the wrong.
See, he trying to count somebody's pocket. He trying to say the man ain't got no money. He trying to say his house ain't worth what he said it is. He's trying to say that the black man lied. It's not one of the most wealthiest neighborhoods in Ohio. It might not be. But for where they at, it might be one of the most in the city. You don't know where they at. So leave that alone. Let's go.
Neighborhood, but I don't think I do, because these white folks live in this same neighborhood, and I've seen them interviewed, and they're like fitness trainers, personal fitness trainers. They got a personal fitness business. They're not Richard Simmons.
See, he's trying to judge somebody else's pocket off of what somebody else do. They might be fitness trainers. How you know they don't own 24-hour fitness, Planet Fitness? You don't know what the people do. They might be personal trainers. They might also be good investors. They might be good in the stock market. You don't know what people do to get their money. So that man is a builder. He's a contractor. He builds houses for a living. So I'm sure his house probably is better than everybody else's.
I think the guy used to be in the military, and he and the wife do a personal fitness business and maybe some other stuff. But again, this wasn't Joe Burrow and his wife, or Joe Burrow and his girlfriend. This wasn't Jamar Chase and his wife. These are some personal trainers that have a business that seem to do well and seem to be in a neighborhood of homes that are valued anywhere between $700,000 and $1.1 million. It's a nice neighborhood. But the wealthiest neighborhood, and that's where you start off your conversation with Shannon Sharp. This sounds like a man that will put yeast on a story.
See what I'm saying? Right there is what we need to know. See, Jason ain't had his black man moment yet. And I think he needs one. I think that he needs to have that moment to where he has done no wrong. He has done all the things right. He's in the places he's supposed to be. And the police need to tap it and say, hey, why are you here? Let me see your identification. Put your hands right here. Let me see. You got guns. You got knives. You got any weapons in your pocket? You know, where you headed after you leave here? Where are you going? See? And then when you turn around to ask, why are you asking these questions? When that police say, hey, you want to go to jail today? See, that's the shut up word. Don't talk unless spoken to. When they ask you, hey, you want to go to jail today? That's when they're trying to tell you, hey, keep on talking. Quit asking me questions. Because we going to take it there. See, he ain't had one of those moments. One of them moments where you just riding home, running your business. You done had a good day. And you just gonna go home, drink something, smoke something, chill out, watch some TV, and enjoy. But on your way to the house, you enter your subdivision, you make that left, you stop at the stop sign, you almost home, and them lights hit you, light you up. And you know for sure that you have absolutely done nothing wrong. Why am I being pulled over? And if your hands ain't at 10 and 2, and your window's not down when they get there, you about to have that moment. Because when he tap on that glass and say, roll your window down. Excuse me, sir, how you doing? Well, can I ask you where you headed to tonight? And you looking at like, excuse me, officer, what did I do? I need your license and registration. See, they want to make sure you clean because they didn't ran your tag while they was behind you. They didn't run your tag. They got to make sure the person. See, when you sitting in that front seat and your voice a little trembly because the officer talking to you with his hand on his pistol. When you looking at him and saying, officer, my wallet and my identification are right here I'm gonna reach for it. Okay. See, you ain't had them moments where you know that they're just pulling you over just to bother you. And you know you ain't did nothing wrong. But you ain't got but one job. And that's to make sure you get home. Ain't no need of questioning him. We know why he there. But you know you good. So you do what you're supposed to do just to get out of that situation. After you give him your license, show him your insurance. And all of that comes back clean. And he still ain't told you what he pulled you over for. And he says, thank you, Mr. Whitlock. You have a wonderful evening. And then you turn to that officer and you just gotta ask, can I ask you why you pulled me over? And he says, have a good evening, sir. Because he ain't got nothing to give you. He pulled you over because you was black and he didn't think you was supposed to be there. Bottom line. Because when you tell him, well, sir, I'm going home. And his next question is, you living here? Where? What's your address? See, he ain't had one of those moments. That's the moment he needs to have. That moment that makes you feel like you ain't shit. The moment that you have no control over. Only thing you can do is smile and hope they go the hell away. He ain't had one of those. He need a few. And I promise you, he'll come back. But I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna get off Jason because he make me sick sometimes. He like running with them folks. Them ain't our folks. Them folks don't love us. We got a president that's just trying to take away anything that got to do with black people's rights right now. Everything. So y'all stand up, stay on your P's and Q's, guard your top. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get out of here, man. Y'all have a wonderful Sunday. I'm gonna holler at y'all. I'm out. Peace.